Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Monday, March the 4th. We got a 7-game Monday slate. I'm going to go through each position, talk about some of the plays that stand out to me on this 7-game slate, work our way through the player pool. I will give my 5 plays for DraftKings and 5 plays for Yahoo. These are 5 players that I do like specifically for each site. Before we do get started though, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. If you do enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button. And if you have not subscribed yet, if you are new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button as well. I would really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and start off at point guard. So on DraftKings, our most expensive point guard today is Trae Young. He's 9,300 in a road matchup against the Heat. This is a back-to-back for the Hawks, but I'm not really concerned here for Trae Young. For one, he's a young guy, obviously fresh legs, but also he did get ejected in Sunday's game. He only played like 18 minutes, I believe, so I really don't have any concerns about him being limited. He's going to play his full amount of minutes. But he is expensive. He's 9,300. It's not the best matchup. I think we can look elsewhere on this slate. I don't really see myself playing Trae Young today. I don't really like a ton of the expensive point guards in general. Just don't see myself paying up at this position. Like, there's other 9K, 8K guys I would rather pay for. Definitely my favorite play here, even though it's a tough matchup, if I were to pay up, depending on news, how whatever happens with Anthony Davis is questionable with the illness. If AD sits 7,600, even in a tough matchup for Drew Holiday, he would be the guy that I would go to. But as I'm recording this on Sunday night, we don't have news on AD, or we don't have the news that he's confirmed out. So that's a wait and see for me on Drew Holiday. He would be the guy that I would go to. But there are some good mid-range plays I like. One guy I want to touch on in this mid-range is Justice Winslow. I think this is a great spot for Justice Winslow. He's 5,700 on DraftKings. He did get a pretty big price raise, but he's still cheap on Yahoo. He's only $18 over here. I like him quite a bit on both sites. On DraftKings, he's not as appealing, but I still think he's a good play because it's just such a good matchup. Point guards against the Hawks. We've seen them have a ton of success this year. Gordon Dragic is questionable for this game, and if Dragic sits, definitely see Winslow play more minutes. I would expect he probably plays like 32, 33 minutes if Dragic is out. If Dragic plays, Winslow only probably plays like 30 minutes, but still, with it being such a good matchup, you could easily get 35, close to 40 DraftKings points out of Winslow here. Trae Young's one of the worst defenders in the league, if not the worst defender, so absolutely love this spot for Winslow. He's been as consistent as it gets. I know he hasn't shown a crazy high ceiling, but you can pretty much pencil him in for about 30 DraftKings points in this matchup. Obviously, at 5,700, you want more than 30 DK points, but knowing that I can get a floor of that, and obviously he does have a little bit of a ceiling, so I like Winslow quite a bit. On DraftKings, you can play him as small forward as well, which makes him really appealing. If you do want to move him to small forward, you feel free to do so. But talking about some other point guards now, also want to talk about Rajon Rondo. He's 5,500 on DraftKings. He's still way underpriced in my opinion. He did get a price raise on Yahoo. He's up to $25 over here. But I think you can still play him on Yahoo. He's coming off a bad game against the Suns. Hopefully that will keep his ownership down. Rondo, I expect, continues to start, even though he looked pretty bad in that game against the Suns and only played 26 minutes. He still started that game. He definitely had a productive first quarter. I know he had like 14 fantasy points after the first quarter, and then he didn't really do much after that. But if he's playing well, he's probably going to play close to high 30s in minutes, if not close to 40 minutes. We saw him play 40 minutes against Milwaukee, 37 minutes against the Pelicans. If Rondo comes out here and plays well, he could definitely get up to 35, 37, 38 minutes. At 5,500 in a good pace-up game against the Clippers, a fast-paced game, I think Rondo is a really good play here. Obviously, the Lakers need to win pretty much every game the rest of the season if they want to have a chance at the playoffs. So Rondo, plus it's on national TV. National TV Rondo, we know he does play a little bit better when he's on national TV, for what that's worth. But I like him quite a bit on DraftKings, 5,500. Hopefully, since he's coming off a bad game, that might keep his ownership a little bit down. But now going to the 5K range and below, looking for value. If you do want to play Dwayne Wade, it's the same matchup for him. Point guards against the Hawks. I like him as well at 5K. I feel like Winslow probably has a little bit more of a safer floor. Wade might have more upside, but you definitely get more minutes out of Winslow, which is kind of why I would prefer him. But still, Wade's in a really good spot if you want to play him at 5K. But there's really no cheap plays I like here. I'm just going to be going to the mid-range. I think that's where you get a lot of good plays at this position. So let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard. At shooting guard today, the guy I like here at the top is Drew Holiday, especially if Anthony Davis is out. He would be the guy that I would go to, but even if AD sits, I don't see Holiday being a core play for me, a guy that I play a ton of. For one, I just don't expect him to be very popular. I'm not going to need to play a ton of Drew Holiday today because even if AD sits, I don't see Holiday being like massive chalk, especially since it's a road matchup with the Jazz. But he's still a guy I would get some exposure to. Let's talk about some mid-range plays here. Josh Richardson, he's had a lot of success against the Hawks. He's 6,100 on DraftKings. Definitely like him. He's at small forward on Yahoo. He's probably going to be the small forward I play the most on Yahoo because this position's usually always pretty gross. He's only $23 over here. He's around the same price tag as like Bogdanovich, Kuzma, Ingles. I think out of those guys, Richardson would be the guy that I would play. So small forward on Yahoo, like Josh Richardson quite a bit. On DraftKings with the multi-position eligibility, he's not as necessary, but I still think he's a pretty good play at 6,100 if you do want to go to him. If we're talking about value here, though, really there's no value that I love. Like Landry Shamet was kind of hot in Sunday's game. He had a pretty decent game on Sunday. Had 28 fantasy points in 26 minutes. He was shooting the ball really well. Against the Kings, he shot the ball really well in that game. Played 33 minutes and had 32 DraftKings points. Obviously, this game has a lot of appeal because of the pace. Landry Shamet's not the highest upside play and definitely has a pretty low floor, but if you want to chase it, 4K, I don't think it's the worst value, but don't see him being really a core value play for me. I expect better value opens up. But let's go ahead and move on to small forward. So I do like the top of this position. I like LeBron quite a bit today. Until LeBron gets like to 12K, I think he's going to be sort of a plug and play as long as the matchup's right. LeBron's just going out there and playing a ton of minutes right now. The Lakers need to win every game rest of the season. They want to have a chance at the playoffs. LeBron's going to be playing 40 minutes on a night if it's a competitive game. I expect this game against the Clippers is competitive, so we should probably get about 40 minutes out of LeBron. Easily should be able to put up 55 to 60 DraftKings points, pretty much giving you the highest floor out of any player on the slate. You can pretty much pencil LeBron in for 55 to 60 DK points lately, and we know he still has a big ceiling. He can go for 70, 80 DraftKings points. So he's a core play for me today. I like him a lot on Yahoo as well. He is the same price as Giannis. They did drop Giannis' price a little bit. LeBron's still the same price that he's been in the last few days. Prefer LeBron to Giannis today. I think this game has a better chance to stay close. LeBron's going to play more minutes than Giannis. It's a great matchup for Giannis as well, but it's a matchup with the Suns, and that game could blow out. Giannis still hasn't been playing a ton of minutes. He's been a little limited lately. LeBron just feels like the safer play, in my opinion, and the guy that I want to pick for on this slate. But other small forwards, we could go to Josh Richardson. I mentioned I like quite a bit at 6,100 if you do want to play him. Value-wise, if we're going cheap at this position, I don't really see a ton of value that stands out to me, at least looking at this slate the night before. I don't see any core plays here. Probably just going to be paying up for LeBron at small forward as much as I can, or playing like Josh Richardson or Kuzma or maybe Gallinari. Mostly going to be trying to go to LeBron, though. But let's go ahead and move on to power forward. So I do like Julius Randle at the top here, depending on if Anthony Davis plays or not. It's not the best matchup for Julius Randle, but if Anthony Davis is out, I expect Julius Randle probably plays big minutes. He's very productive when Anthony Davis is off the floor. Even at 8,200, Julius Randle, if AD sits today, is going to be a guy that I look to quite a bit. Dwayne Dedmon, depending on if John Collins plays today, I think Dedmon at 6,400 becomes really intriguing. I think he stands out in this mid-range. Depending on if AD plays or not, I think you can go to Derek Favors. Honestly, I think you could play Derek Favors either way. The Pelicans have been playing big lately. They've been playing Randle and AD alongside each other. Even when AD sits, they'll play Okafor and Randle alongside each other. So that's a matchup where Favors could get some extra minutes. 5,800, don't mind him. If Whiteside's out, Bam Adebayo, 5,600, don't really have to tell you to play Bam Adebayo. He's still a little bit underpriced, especially for a matchup with the Hawks. Bam Adebayo, really good play today. If Whiteside's out, Whiteside is questionable right now as I'm recording this video. For cheap plays, though, I really don't like a ton of value here. Don't really see any cheap plays that are must-haves, at least not to stand out to me. So let's go ahead and move on to center. This position is definitely loaded. At the top, you have Jokic at 10,300 against the Spurs. Jokic is not my favorite play today. Not really a guy I'm going to try to pay up for. Obviously, I prefer LeBron, and I think center has good mid-range options. And I do like Julius Randle for $2,000 cheaper, so don't really see myself going to Jokic. I think Gobert for cheaper than Jokic makes a ton of sense. I like this matchup a lot for Gobert, especially if Anthony Davis is out. If Jahlil Okafor is going to be guarding Rudy Gobert, he should absolutely be able to go off in that matchup. So Gobert and Randle really stand out to me at the top of the position. You got Dedmon in the mid-range, who I like quite a bit if John Collins is out. Willie Cauley-Stein, a guy that I was on Friday night quite a bit, along with a lot of people. He was pretty popular Friday night, but I still like him here, even though he got a big price raise. He's up to $5,800 on DraftKings. He's up to $20 on Yahoo. I still think Willie Cauley-Stein is a good play, especially in a matchup with the Knicks. We saw last game against the Clippers with Marvin Bagley out. We got consistent minutes out of Willie Cauley-Stein. He played 31 minutes. He was pretty productive as well. Had 41 DraftKings points, had 16 and 12 with an assist and 4 blocks. He gets another good matchup today. I expect the minutes to be there. I expect the minutes to be consistent now that Bagley is out. You don't have Bagley taking minutes away from Cauley-Stein. I think Cauley-Stein's going to play about 30, 32 minutes on a nightly basis. Sometimes might even play more. Should easily be able to give you a point per minute. I would be surprised if you get less than like 30, 35 DraftKings points out of Willie Cauley-Stein today. So $5,800. Hopefully people shy away from him with the price increase. I still have some interest in Willie Cauley-Stein today. Obviously you can play Bam. If Whiteside's out, $5,600, you could go to him. Also really like Dwight Powell. Dwight Powell's $5,200 on DK, and he's pretty cheap on Yahoo, only $16 over here. He looks like a really good play today in a really good matchup. Powell's been playing big minutes lately. Maxi Kleber no longer starting alongside Powell. They've been starting Dirk at the 4 and playing Powell at the 5. Kleber really hasn't been getting that many minutes. Really hasn't been getting a ton of minutes. We saw earlier in the year, Powell and Kleber were kind of splitting the center minutes, but that hasn't been the case lately. Powell's been starting and playing 30-plus minutes on a nightly basis. Sometimes he plays high 30s in minutes depending on how well he's playing and if the game is close. I do expect this game against Brooklyn to be close. I expect Powell probably plays like 33, 34 minutes. It's a great matchup. Centers against Brooklyn is something we love to target. It's just such a good spot. Centers always seem to do well against this Brooklyn team. So I like Dwight Powell quite a bit. He's an active guy. He's going to be trying to get rebounds. He can score as well. I feel like he has a pretty good chance at a double-double here. He can definitely pick up some defensive stats as well in this matchup. So Dwight Powell at $5,200. Easily see him getting over 30 DraftKings points and being a good play at that price tag. But really don't like any value at center. Maybe check Diallo if Anthony Davis is out. Check Diallo even though it's a tough matchup. The guy's just so productive when he plays. Even if he plays like 22 minutes, he can easily get you 30 fantasy points in 22 minutes. Depending on Anthony Davis, though. If AD plays, don't have a ton of interest in Diallo. And then if John Collins is out again and Amari Spellman's out again, we saw on Sunday Alex Len started at center and they moved Dedmon to the 4. There's a chance they do that again. They'll start Alex Len again. Obviously, if Alex Len starts, he's a very productive player. Don't really need to say much there. 4K for Alex Len if he's going to start. Makes him one of the top values on the slate. But that's news we're going to have to wait and see on as the day goes on Monday. But yeah, guys, I think that's it for center, and I think that's it for the video. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you click that like button down below. Make sure you subscribe as well if you have not already. And if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below or hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. But yeah, guys, really appreciate you watching the video. We'll see you in the next one. Good luck tonight. Peace.